All right, good morning, sports fans. Obviously, when you hear the band, you know it is football time. You know, for us football fans, let's just get honest about this. If you're a school teacher, it's the last day of school. If you're a firefighter, it's the last ember goes out. If you're a police officer, it's, your favorite donut shop out in Dunkin'. But when you're a football fan, it's Labor Day weekend. It's the first weekend of fall football, and there's no football out there like the Southeastern Conference. So we're here today. Welcome to the BW and the Gold SEC podcast. We are here today representing, trying to share with you all of the things about the SEC opening weekend, both the news, and get you up to speed, get you ready for the weekend, and off we go. So let's go first to the breaking news this week. A couple of things I wanted to point out this week. Gold is that Lane Kiffin. I lived in Tennessee for about 10 years, so the Knoxville folks are not real fond of this young man. But I got to tell you, just so you know, if you were looking for an unbiased opinion of football, this is not where to get it. I'm a diehard Alabama fan. Roll Tide. And Gold, how do you feel about Alabama?
We're not going to hold any of that against you. I think your fandom is a bit delusional between the Cowboys and the Tide. I think you're just setting yourself up for disappointment.
Hey. We have had a good run. It's been a great run under Saban, and now we look forward to the next chapter. But Lane Kiffin, he was with us a while, and he came out this week. He's now, for those of you that may not know, he's the coach for Ole Miss, another Southeastern Conference team. And Lane came out this week saying that he's now been sober for 3 straight years. And I just want to give him major props. First of all, for sharing that, for being willing to share that, just being a good job. We apparently have some Tennessee fans that have entered the building. And
There we go. Appreciate it. Y'all never Saturday in October.
y'all love that beating, but we love giving it to you, so it's all right. So, hey, let's just hope y'all don't get to throw your goalpost in the river this year.
Oh, boy.
That was pretty impressive. I got to give you that.
They still send the ball to Tennessee River.
So, anyway, this is what's great about Southeastern Conference. Is that the passion in this conference is phenomenal. The rivalries are enormous, but, nobody's throwing punches at each other. Guys, this is about football, family fun, and faith. And, that's just so epitomized in the Southeastern Conference. To that point, Drew Brees this week came out with advice for young Arch Manning. And, that is one great family to another great family. Drew Brees and his wife were absolutely spectacular down in New Orleans during some real hard times for that city. And did so many good things for the folks down there. Arch Manning, of course, comes from what I think all of us would refer to as the first family of football. Just great family. And his advice to him, by the way, was, get you about 50 starts in so that you're ready for the NFL. And, just good, wholesome advice. Fathers passing on, stuff to kids and family and all the stuff that we're all about. So here we go. From that to absolutely disturbing story. If you are a Florida Gators fan, I have some absolutely horrible news for you. Do not, I repeat, do not under any circumstances look at your schedule this year. The reason I say that is you have the toughest schedule, and I'm just going to say it this way, for me at least. It's not just a tough schedule. It's the toughest schedule that I have seen in the history of watching football. It's that bad. I've got it here in front of me, and we may go over it here just a little bit. But in case I don't get back to it, Florida fans, just be aware this may be a rough season. So, but lastly, one other thing. We are doing this broadcast today from the Recovery Sports Grill, located in beautiful Chesapeake, Virginia, down on the 757 area code of Tidewater, Virginia. And we want to give them a shout out. We'll be doing a couple spots for them during the broadcast today. And we appreciate them letting us be here and take up some of their time and space. And so being in the middle of ACC country, let me bring this up real quick. SMU team to watch in the ACC. Some of you guys may have grown up with a buddy of mine who is now the Commonwealth Attorney for the city of Martinsville. His name's Andrew Hall, and he thinks that SMU might just be the team to watch. Did a little digging on them, and sure enough, he may have a point. A lot of money behind that program. It's Texas, where everybody knows football is a freaking religion down there. So, anyway, just a school to watch. This report here, I'm a little hesitant on because, it's hard to verify sometimes. But from the sources I have, I understand that Nick Saban's mom may have passed away this week. If that is true, then we certainly do wish him the very best. She was 92, and we do wish her the very best. For the today's game, one of the games we're going to talk about is the Clemson-Georgia game. A couple of things I've heard recently. With running back Trevor and I may not say his name right. Is he another ETN maybe?
That's what I'm going to go with.
Yeah, anyway, he's the running back for Georgia. He's not playing today against Clemson. And you got to love the audacity of the Clemson sports announcer. He calls Georgia out for the fact that they have a 40-some% graduation rate. I mean, really went after him like Georgia really needed any, billboard material, or what did Saban used to call it, bulletin board material? Oh, my goodness. I'm not real sure about the wisdom of that particular step by the Clemson guy. But I guess we'll find out here today shortly whether or not it has any effect as Clemson and Georgia lock heads today in an ACC versus SEC matchup. All right, so for those of you that are brand new to the Southeastern Conference, or for those of you that are come back and maybe haven't been paying so much attention, let me share with you that the SEC Conference this year is going to look a lot different. We've added 2 teams, Texas and Oklahoma. Most people probably know that. But one of the biggest things that has changed is that there is no longer going to be an East and West conference. It's going to just all be one conference, 16 teams all gunning for each other. It's a 12-game schedule, and what they've decided to do is they come up with some tiebreakers here, and I have a list of those tiebreakers. So let's say that, I'll pick my team, of course, Alabama. Let's say we finished at, 11-1, and let's say Texas maybe finishes at 11-1. So what they would have to do is go to the tiebreakers. Now, if the 2 schools play each other, then they go by a head-to-head matchup. Whoever won that wins the tiebreaker. I'm pretty okay with that, like that. If maybe the 2 teams, like say Ole Miss and Alabama, both go 11-1, and let's say that they don't play each other head to head, then their next one goes down to their record versus all common conference opponents among the tied teams. That kind of makes sense. We're going to look at the teams that both of you played and decide which of you did better against them record wise. This next one is the one I'm starting to not quite understand. So the record against the next tiebreaker, if that ends up a tie, is record against highest, best placed common opponent in the conference standing and proceeding through the standing among the tied teams. So, any sports fans out there that have any idea what that means, just write into the show there. We'll give you a place to write in the time to get done today. Tell us what that means. A couple others on there. We're not going to go through them all today, but lastly, I like how they got down to tiebreaker F says random draw of the tied teams, which I think we're pretty much them going, yeah, okay, we'll flip a coin. So
That's just the Alabama wins type stipulation that they put in there. Just some way for Alabama to skate in there, just like every year.
we're going to ignore his negativity toward Alabama, but anyway, moving on there. Again, neat place we're in today. You may, I'm not sure. This is our inaugural podcast, so welcome each of you for joining me with us. And we're in an absolutely fantastic location. It's called the Recovery Sports Grill. It was started in 2007. The founder's name is Don Duke. And the current CEO, I understand, is Steve Obermeyer. This group started up in Albany, New York. Started this as a sports group, but it was called Recovery because it was located right across the crossway from a Albany Medical Center. So they figured it was a good thing. I just love the fact that we're in a bar that's called Recovery. something just
That sounds right. Yeah.
I think it's just something completely appropriate.
Hair of the dog. That's recovery at the bar and the grill.
But again, it's absolutely. I was here last week at their tried their barbecue chicken flatbread, absolutely outstanding. We've got one of the best bartenders in the area, Laura. She's going to be here with us in just a few minutes and to tell you some of the specials they've got. But if you get a chance, 2 locations in the Tidewater area, one over in Hampton or Norfolk, and one in Norfolk, and then one here in Chesapeake. Again, there's 2 locations here in Tidewater, one over in Norfolk, and the other over in Chesapeake, one that we're at this morning. So, thanks again to Recovery Sports Group. Certainly appreciate you guys letting us be here this morning and share the opening Saturday of SEC football with you. Well, let's get to it, Gold. First game, what do you think? Clemson versus Georgia. Clemson got anything for the Dogs? Or not?
I think Clemson's only shot at this is Georgia, getting really bad all of a sudden. I think they stand no chance.
Right.
If I had to guess, I don't know, 28-14.
28-14.
Go Dogs.
Go Dogs. I could have gone all year without hearing that for you, and it's still been all right. Anyway, I agree with you. I think the Dogs are just too talented. Georgia, Kirby Smart just does such a tremendous job with that program down there. Again, yet another Saban disciple that yet another Saban disciple who's just done an outstanding job with the program in the SEC. I think Georgia's just got too many weapons for them. I think Georgia. I think if Clemson keeps it, what you said, 28-14, I think Clemson would have done a great job. Alabama's, I'm just going to say it like I think it. Alabama's going to kick one today. They're playing Western Kentucky. No offense to the fans of Western Kentucky, but, if you're a David and Goliath fan, you're not going to be David today. So, anyway, moving on. I think one of the better games of the day, Gold, is Notre Dame versus Texas A&M, and it is at Texas A&M. What do you think?
I guess I'll fanboy out a little on Notre Dame and just give them the win for having the prettiest uniforms. Take a page out of my wife's book.
Well, I'm going to tell you as a sports fan that I think Notre Dame is annually overrated. And yes, you're welcome, right, to tell me you think I'm wrong. But I can prove it as well because the national media is in love with Notre Dame. No idea why, but they love them. And, Notre Dame, they first of all, they most recently they've been tied up with the ACC, which is certainly better. For a long time, they were in that, kind of no man's land where they really weren't in a conference. They didn't really play a lot of anybody. And then they get to the playoffs with one of the SEC teams and beat them by 40 points. So, anyway, Notre Dame A&M, good game. If I had to pick that one, you know what? I'm going to go with the upset. I think A&M shuts them down. I think they come right out of the gate and prove that Notre Dame is once again overrated. So we'll see how it goes. All right, just a few moments. We're going to ask Miss Laura to come over and to talk a little bit about the Recovery Sports Group. She's our new favorite bartender, and we hope you'll come by and see her. She'll be over here in just a minute. While we're waiting on her, let's start with, I'm going to pick the top 10 teams in the SEC this year. I think we're going to start with the bottom 5 and work our way up. I think A&M, Texas A&M, comes in 10th, 7-5 on record. Hugh Freeze, Auburn. I think he's got them playing ball again. I think they come in tonight. I think they have a great season at 8-4. And again, that's a lot of progress for that program. I think Hugh Freeze, after doing a super job up at Liberty, has come down to Auburn, did a great job, and barring an absolute miracle for Alabama last year, I think that Auburn gets out of there with a win. So anyway, night 8 is going to be Mizzou, 8-4. 7th LSU 9-3. 6 is Oklahoma. And we'll take the top 5 in just a minute. All right, Miss Laura.
Hello.
This is Miss Laura. She's our new favorite bartender. Tell us about some of the specials you got, either regular or this week, or however you want to do it.
So we do have some really great specials coming up, especially for football season. All day on Monday from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. we have $1 chicken wings. You cannot find this special anywhere else in Hampton Roads. Tuesdays, 2 tacos for $6. Wednesdays, we have a brand new special featuring our chicken tenders. They are hand breaded, fresh, made to order every single day. You can pick 4 different sauces with those. Thursdays, the best special, my favorite day to work, $5 burger, hand-packed patties, fresh, never frozen beef, $5 burger. You can't find it anywhere else, even McDonald's. Don't sue me. We also have our specialty burgers all day that day for only $7. And on Sundays, we have some great new beer specials, and also we have $2.99 kids meals that day, all day long.
All right. Sounds great. Guys, I've tried some of the food here. It is absolutely outstanding. You're going to forget you're in a grill and think you're going fine dining. Hey, listen, while we've got Laura over here, she, and for reasons beyond understanding, is a Clemson fan.
Go Tigers, baby.
And so what are your thoughts on today? They're playing the Dogs. They got anything for those Dogs today?
So my hope for today, I'm a realistic fan. My hope for today is that we just hold our own. I know Georgia has won the last 8 of their openers for the season, so I do have an expectation that Georgia is going to take the game, but I just want my Tigers and my coaching staff, everybody, to be in the game, head in the game, and hold our own. No blowout to open our season.
So, very good.
That's
Thank
it.
you so
Thank
much.
you, guys.
You'll never hear a realistic.
Have you ever heard a realistic fan ever?
Yeah, you'll never hear that from an Alabama fan. I
You'll never
imagine.
hear that from a Tennessee fan. They always think they're going to win the national championship.
Well, you know,
I mean,
gotta be hopeful.
they were good like 1 year or 30 years ago, and they're still, it's all us. It's all
You know, I understand.
So, anyway, got to pick on my Vols fans there. We've got a Vols fan here in the restaurant. He made an awfully good point, though, I will say, about the Tennessee Vols. And I do not mind saying this, even as a diehard Alabama fan. The Tennessee Vols fans are not bandwagoners. Those guys have suffered through some of the absolute worst coaching I have ever seen in the history of football, and they still would pack out Neyland. They still wear that god-awful orange. These guys are just die-hard football fans, and we always look forward to the rivalry the third Saturday in October. We'll be at their house this year. It should be a lot of fun. But anyway, just a shout out, I guess, to all those Rocky Top fans. So anyway, let's do the top 5. How do you feel about that bottom 5 with A&M 10th, Auburn 9th, Mizzou 8th, LSU 7th, Oklahoma 6th? What do you think?
Like there's some Auburn disrespect there. I don't know.
Hey, I put them in the top 10. If it was up to me, I would have even put them as part of the SEC.
Clearly, there's a little bias there. That's all I'm saying.
Could be a little biased.
We need some realistic fan point of view over here for an Alabama person.
Again, this is not going to be an unbiased show. It's just not going to happen. All right, let's talk about the top 5. Lane Kiffin got Ole Miss playing pretty well these days. I see them going 10-2. I think Georgia beats them, and I think LSU beats them this year. But I think other than that, I think they do pretty well. Don't have Alabama on the schedule, and they go 10-2. Rocky Top, Tennessee, got the new quarterback, Nico. I think he's going to be everything we think he's going to be. I think they do pretty well. They lose to Alabama. Got to say that. And then they've got a game against Oklahoma that I think is going to give them trouble. I don't think necessarily that Oklahoma is better than they are. I just think it's early in the season, and historically, Tennessee has often struggled on the road early in the season. I think if they played Oklahoma later in the year, I think they beat them. But things being what they are, I think Tennessee drops the Alabama game and the Oklahoma game, ends up 4th in the conference. All right, so again, shout out to a friend of mine who lives down in Alabama. And again, I don't know how this happened, but she ended up being a Georgia fan living in Alabama, which I suppose is like me being an Alabama fan living in Knoxville, I guess, same thing. But anyway, she's not going to like this next pick. I'm putting Georgia 3rd in the conference, and I know it's Georgia, and I know it's Kirby Smart, and they are loaded again. But here's what I think. I'm just going to say it. I think they beat us. We've got them at our house this year, but I think they come in there. I think they sneak away with a win. But I think what's going to happen to them this year, their schedule is really tough. Not as tough as Florida's, but it's pretty tough. And I think what's going to happen is I think they're going to drop 2 games. They've got Tennessee. I believe that was at Knoxville, and I think the Tennessee crowd's going to get them. This is their year finally. And I think Texas is going to jump up and get them. The SEC the SEC this year is just going to be so hard to go week in and week out, week in and week out without dropping one. I just think you're going to have a down week, and because you're playing such high quality competition week in and week out, you just step off the gas pedal just a little, and you're going to lose. So anyway, I've got Georgia finishing 10-2. Got them in 3rd place. So let's do the top 2. Much as it pains me to say it, but somewhere in the distance I can hear, all right, happening. I think Texas ends up 11-1. Oddly enough, I think Oklahoma's going to be the one to take them out. Shout out to a friend of mine, pastor over in Martinsville, Virginia, big Oklahoma fan. And I think his Sooners are going to jump up and fight the Longhorns on that day. But other than that, I think Texas is going to do super well their first year here in the SEC. I think they're going to finish second, tied with, you guessed it, Alabama at 11-1. I think the only team that gets us this year is Georgia. I think our new coach, and we're ready for you, Coach, a heck of a task to try to follow the GOAT, Saban. But I think he's going to do real well in his inaugural season. 11-1, I think they're in the playoffs. And by the way, we're going to talk about playoffs here in just a little bit, but I think for the SEC, this new 12-team college playoff format, I think the SEC is going to put 5 teams in, is my prediction. I think Ole Miss, Tennessee, Texas, Georgia, Alabama, I think all 5 of them are going to get in to the CFP this year. We'll talk more about that later. All right, let's go back to a couple games going on this week. By the way, let me share this with you. SEC so far, and at the time of recording, we're doing this on Saturday morning before all the other games have happened. But the SEC so far in the 3 games that have happened, Oklahoma won. They beat Temple 51-3. They beat Missouri, beat Murray State 51-0. And Arkansas beat
Pine Crest or Pine Bluff, yeah, something like that. Yeah, that's bad.
It was 70-0.
Sounds right.
If you add that up, in my Alabama math here, that comes up to about 172 to 3 is what the SEC has done in their first 3 games. Not too shabby. So, hey, listen, in my understanding, aren't there a couple local schools that are playing SEC teams today?
Yep, I hear ODU has to suffer that fate, and old Virginia Tech.
I think you're exactly right. I think ODU is playing South Carolina, and I got to tell you, for an ODU program, they haven't been Division I that long, really. I mean, so for them to go into Division I and then get all the way up to where they're playing an SEC opponent, I think it's fantastic for them. Great for the program. Good to hear for them. Obviously, I think South Carolina's going to beat them. Not much chance of an upset, I don't think. But boy, I know one thing: 757 would go absolutely wild if they were to actually pull that upset.
It's going to be the 2018 we beat Virginia Tech in the ODU area.
Yes,
somehow
that's right.
Freak out.
That's right. Speaking of Virginia Tech, they are in the mix this week. Who are they playing again?
Vandy, is that right?
Vanderbilt. Okay, let's talk about this one. ACC Virginia Tech versus what I think is widely accepted in the SEC as our weakest team, Vanderbilt. I think Virginia Tech may in fact get them.
Yeah. Virginia Tech. They still have a defense.
Yep.
And
I think Virginia Tech I think they pulled that one out. Sorry, Vandy fans, but I don't have much love for you, to be honest, just because it's Vanderbilt.
March isn't that far away, Vanderbilt.
Yeah, there you go. They got a good baseball team.
Do they? I don't know. The basketball, I think they make it every once in a while.
All right, let's do some more picks today. How do you feel about, so Miami of Florida is playing Florida, and again, that ridiculous schedule for Florida. Opens up with Miami of Florida. It's in the swamp, which I think that's obviously to Florida's advantage. And what do you think?
I'm still going with Miami. I think it's going to be hot, which doesn't really hurt either one of them because it's not like Miami is a, Southern California weather kind of thing. It's just going to be hot and sweaty. I just think Miami's better. I know that's not how the experts say, but Florida's about as overrated as Alabama. We'll go with that.
Oh, shots fired! Shots fired! You know what? I'm going to give Florida a little bit of love here. I'm going to pick Florida on this one. That might be more of a want than an expectation, but that's what I'm hoping for. And we'll see how they do right out of the gate. Plus, like I said, now if they lose this game, if Florida does, they beat Samford and then they're 1-1 out of the gate. Again, they really need to go 3, maybe 4-0 out of the gate to have any chance of the season this year, because the last half of their schedule, with that run of Georgia, Texas, LSU, Ole Miss, and then Florida State. My goodness. I mean, that's as tough of 5 weeks as any football team could ever win. So, anyway, we'll see how it goes. You're picking Miami on that one?
Might as well. Throw it out there.
All right, good deal. South Carolina, obviously, we got them over in U. Chattanooga's playing at Rocky Top today. I think Rocky Top will be jamming. Again, Tennessee occasionally has some hiccups in the first part of the year. I don't think this is going to be one of them. I don't think Chattanooga's got near enough guns to stay with Tennessee, and I think Tennessee kind of pulls away on that one. And let's look down. Here's what I've always wondered more about. If you are a Mississippi State fan, go ahead and hit us up at the website. If you are a Mississippi State fan, go ahead and hit us up on the email.
Put a comment on the YouTube.
Put a comment even on YouTube about if you've been to a Mississippi State game. I don't think I could go to. Have you heard of Mississippi? Those cowbells. Oh my goodness. I mean, there's like 60,000 cowbells ringing. It's unbelievable. Anyway, I'd like to know if you've been there. Tell us how loud that is. Is that as bad as I think it is? Anyway, I'd love to hear your opinion on that one. Anyway, speaking of Mississippi State, Eastern Kentucky going down there today. I think Mississippi State's all over that one. Southern Miss playing at Kentucky. Every now and then Southern Miss has the ability to make a pretty good game out of an opponent that they should lose to. But I think Kentucky pulls this one out. And then finally, save the worst for last, Auburn has finally found an Alabama they can actually beat. It's called Alabama A&M. And as much as I'd like to pick Alabama A&M, I'm going to give Auburn the nod on that one. Who? Chattanooga, yeah.
30.
I could see that. No. Oh, yeah, every bit. Yeah.
There you go. You heard the call from our in-person Vols fan.
That's right. One in every crowd. That's what I'm saying.
Tennessee by 35.
That's not. I mean, that could happen. That really could. One thing I will say about the Tennessee offense, I mean, they have been getting better and better. What they lacked for a little bit there was a quarterback who for a while they had a quarterback great arm, couldn't hit the broadside of the ball. This kid Nico's not only got the arm, he can throw that 60, 70 yard, Hail Mary, but he can also, put it on a dime. So if the Tennessee defense shows up this year, I think Tennessee's going to be. I think Rocky Top's going to be doing a lot of singing this year, and just hopefully not on that third Saturday in October.
Yeah.
So let me talk just a minute about my co-host here, the Gold. We named him that at first as a joke, because those of us who used to be favorite children of our families all got replaced by the golden child when he was born. So, but since then, this young man next to me, who is my nephew, for those of you that don't know, he has served proudly in the United States Marine Corps, admirably, and done well. Both he and his lovely bride were in the Marine Corps. We thank them both for that service. She, in fact, also was a
dispatcher
for the police department as well. So we thank her for her service there as well. And just a great father, great family man, doing a super job, great person to have in this community. We are blessed to have him. Some of you, I'm going to throw another name out there for those of you that are local in the 757. You may remember a Bobby Bracey from the Boy Scouts here locally. Jason is Bobby's grandson on his mom's side, and I bring that up primarily because I wanted Jason to say just a few words about, you can't have an opening day without tailgate, and if you were tailgating and had the time, what might be something you would prepare food-wise that would be something you would do at a tailgate? Any thoughts, or what would Bobby do if he were here? Oh, that's even better. What would Bobby do if he were here, do you think, for a tailgate?
I don't know if we can say that. No, the health department might come after us, but I would say if that was going to happen, you would wrap all the hot dogs in the aluminum foil, put it under the hood, and drive to the stadium. That way when you got there, food was ready. That's what he would do. That's it. Cooking on the 67 Ford.
Yep. Anyway, we're sad to say Bobby's no longer with us, but what a great man, great legacy he left behind, and Jason's fulfilling that legacy and living it on. My name is Bruce Morgan. I was born here in the 757. Spent most of my adult life in the orange crazy city of Knoxville, and I've now moved back to the 757. Glad to be back. We are doing the SEC broadcast here in the middle of ACC country, because once you've experienced it in the Southeast Conference, there's no football like Southeastern. There's no football like the Southeastern Conference, at least in my humble opinion. So, anyway, we're gonna finish up today, and once again, thank you guys. Thank you for covering, for letting us be here. We also want to thank Andy Talent for creating the music. My nephew Jason did all the technical side of this crazy thing. And one last rant before I go. Enjoy college football right now, folks, because it is my deep fear that with this NIL, by putting all the money in play, there is a real danger that we're going to put a lot of these kids, I think, in some harm's way in ways that we're not really looking at, because it's easy to look at the money. And as we found out pretty much by anything the federal government has touched, money doesn't always fix stuff. And we're going to find out if this turns out to be good or bad, but I am deeply concerned for our sport, for the direction that we're heading in, for some of the characters that we are bringing in to put around our young college kids. So anyway, that's my thoughts and philosophy on that. I'll get off my soapbox. We're going to go watch some football. You go find a good tailgate, watch some football, hug your family, and just remember, once again, this is still the greatest country on earth. Thank you guys. God bless.